Good morning. Everybody can hear me okay? Awesome. My name's Spencer Pommells. I'm the Director of Athletics at the University of Lethbridge with the Pronghorns. Yeah, there's a few Pronghorn alumni and a few Pronghorn athletes here, which is good to see. Um, I have been at the University of Lethbridge since 2016 in a couple different roles. I am originally from High Level, Alberta. Raise your hand if you know where High Level, Alberta is. Perfect. It's about 45 minutes south of the Northwest Territories border, so way up there. I grew up there and I started playing hockey at a pretty young age, and that was my first introduction to sport. And hockey really took me through my early years and into my adult years, through post-secondary, played junior hockey, and now transitioning into sport. And so hockey has been an absolute blessing for me. It's taught me a ton of lessons, many of the lessons I hope that you guys will learn here today. And one of the things that it got me introduced to was leadership and leadership theories. I went to the University of Windsor and played hockey there. I did my undergrad in social work, which is actually a very weird thing for working in athletics and sport now. But I did my master's through the University of Guelph in leadership with a focus on student athlete development for post-secondary athletes in Canada. And so we'll go through a little bit of that today. Everybody should have a sheet in front of you, along with a pen or a pencil. If you don't have either, raise your hand right now, and my man Sean will run to you so that you can participate. And it looks like we are okay. All right, Sean, my man. Perfect. So we can hop over to the next slide, Tanya. So the focus of my presentation today is leadership opportunities within sport. Everyone loves to participate in sport, but there are many ways to which to participate other than as an athlete. This session will provide an overview of the opportunities available within sport leadership, such as coaching, officiating, managing, and organizing. Those are the 4 buckets that we're going to focus on as we move through our presentation. Tan, you can hit it again. Now, what we're going to get started with is a reflection. In my role at the University of Lethbridge, I also oversee a leadership academy for Pronghorn student athletes. And in that academy, I am big on self-reflection. It's hard because it's vulnerable. It requires you to be open and honest. And that's going to be my challenge here to each of you around your tables. I am going to call on you, and you're going to have to be a little bit vulnerable. You're going to have to be a leader, and you're going to have to stand up and speak up. So I already see some smirks going on of people being nervous. That's okay. This is a part of leadership, and we're going to go through it. So you can go to the next slide, Tanya. All right. So in front of you on the sheets are 20 questions. You're going to go through each question, multiple choice, circle it down on your sheet, and then on the very last page is a tally. You're going to count how many A's you answered, how many B's, how many C's, how many D's. Pretty straightforward. All right, go ahead and get started. All right, how we doing? Good? Okay, here's what we are going to do. For those people who had the most answers being A, you're going to stand up. Most answers being A, stand up. All right, give yourself a round of applause. A's. Okay, sit down. B's. Stand up. Oh, this is fascinating already. B's, give yourself a round of applause. Now sit down. C's? Oh boy, here we go. I see a teacher that I don't believe he's actually a C, but that's neither here nor there. All right, C's, round of applause, nice and loud. And D's. All right, D's, nice and loud. Round of applause for yourselves. There we go. I'm not surprised. I'm not surprised the D's are the loudest. All right, Tanya, you can go to the next slide. So, what you just did was self-reflect and answer some questions based off of 4 leadership styles. If you answer the majority of the questions with A, that means you have traits of a transformational leader. For B, you are more focused on transactional leadership. And don't worry, I'm going to get into what these actually are and how they link into sport later. C's, servant leaders. Awesome leaders, but come with some problems. And D's, charismatic leaders. Also awesome, but also very problematic. All right? Okay, Tanya, you can hop to the next slide. So we're going to go through each of them. Just sliding over here one sec. That way I don't have to look back. Okay, transactional leadership. Transactional leadership focuses on the exchange between a leader and a follower. Transaction leaders motivate through a system designed on rewards and recognition. Advantages of this: sense of fairness. It's a simple, easy system, and you can see your impact right away. Some of the disadvantages: lacking emphasis on relationships and discourages creativity. And I will add a caveat here. All of these leadership styles have awesome strengths, but also some weaknesses. And it's really important that we all have that understanding as we reflect on who we are, what type of personality we have, and how that can connect to leading in sport. Go ahead, Tanya. All right, charismatic leadership. Charismatic leaders are visionaries. They develop a big dream and formulate a plan to make it happen. They often see what others don't, and they imagine a new way to find that result. Some of the advantages: emotional attachment, creativity, improves retention, and shared identity. Some of the disadvantages: heavily dependent on the leader, threatens values, and can be evolved into self-ambition. Go ahead, Tanya. All right, the servant leaders. Servant leaders are those who have a passion to serve first, lead second. They focus on the well-being of people and communities and make decisions that are in the best interest of those around them before themselves. Some of the advantages: it's very good at building personal credibility, improves group morale, colleagues grow and develop. Some of the disadvantages: burnout, look to others for leadership, and can be slow at times. Not that way, come on. Transformational leadership, and this is my favorite. So A's, I like you. Transformational leaders inspire people to change their perceptions, expectations, and motivations. They build and maintain relationships while improving the morale, motivation, and performance of their teams. Advantages: they promote creativity through teamwork, develop people, build and maintain motivations, create positive change in group dynamics. Some of the disadvantages, though: can put pressure on followers, focusing too much on the individual, and can be micromanagers. For all of you in high school, you don't really have an experience with this yet. Maybe in some of your jobs, once you move into a career, this is a problem that lots of people have to deal with. Okay, so here's where we're going to get into my challenge earlier of you being vulnerable. So around your tables, you're going to discuss those 4 leaderships that I just walked through, your score, things you are maybe surprised about, things you expected, and let's go with those two. Things you are surprised about and things that you expected. Okay? So around your group for a couple minutes here, and I'll come back to you. All right. Everybody get a chance to share? Did you hear from everybody at your table? Okay, we're going one more minute. You have to hear from every single person at your table. Nobody on the sidelines. All right. Okay, I need a selfish plug here and a mea culpa. Mea culpa is I went to this table and the guys are like, it's called Riz. It's not called charisma. So mea culpa on me. I do have to give a selfish shout out to a servant leader who I know really well, and he's a pronghorn athlete. He's sitting in the back of the room, and he's up for a National Community Service Award. Tom, just want to give you a shout out. Round of applause for Tommy. I went over to ask him and see his score, and he had 10 C's, so I'm not surprised one bit. Okay, so sticking with the theme of vulnerability, leadership, I actually want to ask who's willing to share with us their reaction, perfect, of the score and the leadership theories and your general thoughts on yourself. I love it. Thank you.
So I got A, and I'm not really surprised I got A because I do micromanage a lot, which is one of the flaws. I even make my own birthday dinner to make sure it's made right.
That's fantastic.
And I do have a lot of the strengths when I'm leading too. My gym teacher called me a leader all the time. She loves me for it, and we matched. I'm not surprised that she micromanages too. So I'm not surprised with my score at all.
Awesome. Really, really great. Thank you. Couple more.
So I got a C, and I'm really not surprised by that because I ran out like a lot, and then like I don't know,
Yeah. Perfect. Keep going.
I got a E, which I was a little bit surprised about, but I feel like if I wasn't so empathetic, I would probably.
All right. Love it. Couple more.
I got B too, but I'm honestly not surprised because I do change a lot for other people. Like if you're energetic, I'll be energetic. If you're calm, I'll be calm.
Awesome.
I got C, and I was not surprised because I've had lots of people tell me I'm that type of leader before, and the advantages showed because I have my team next to me, and then so that I fit that role very well.
Yes. That's great. How about some of the guys? Come on, fellas. We got to be vulnerable.
Somebody had a good side. I'm really surprised that I got C. I thought I was more cool, but now that I'm back on it, I always put everyone else first.
Awesome. That's good. Keep going, fellas.
I was D. I didn't think I was going to be D. Probably I thought I was going to be C, but I do think I do play like a big leader role on the team, and if I'm having an off day, it affects the entire team. So yeah.
That's good. It's a table of Riz. Couple more.
I was A, mostly, and I wasn't surprised. Some of my athletes in the room, I tend to micromanage. It's something that I'm trying to do more of is less micromanaging. What was the other criticism of A? Can you
Ooh.
remind me?
I have to go back 10.
Because that was something I'm actually working on and I've already forgotten.
Yeah. Transformational, yeah. Yeah, no, they're not.
It was focusing too much on the individual. That's something that I criticized myself just recently, actually, about. So there's it on the board, and I wasn't surprised. There.
I'm going to ask some of the teachers at the teacher table. Let's go. Hop in here.
Cruz will go after. I got A. Actually, I was pretty split. I was 766 for ABC. But not surprising. I knew D would be my last one, so I'm not that type of leader.
Yeah.
But otherwise, no surprises here. Cruz.
I got C because, well, I do feel burnt out a lot sometimes when I'm like playing football and stuff. I do feel like there's a lot of pressure on me. I feel a lot burnt out during practice.
Yeah, no, that is by far the biggest issue with servant leadership. Is you're so focused on serving others, helping others, leading others that you forget about yourself. Who's got the mic next? Bruce, my man.
Yeah, I was heavy on the C side of things as well. And that piece through in terms of at least my role in our school as an athletic director, trying to be involved and trying to give your best to all kind of elements within your program and try to hopefully have the right people in position to lead and then support them as best you can. But I can empathize and agree with the burnout piece of trying to feeling spread thin and trying to kind of have involved in all things. It's tough to do all things well.
Well said. Well said. All right, one more, and then we'll move on. Awesome. This has been great.
I got C, and I was pretty surprised about like the aspect of the strength of slow, but like I actually just did it because like I'm so focused on everyone else's opinion that it makes like one person's opinion, so you can like do like one person down by taking someone else's like
Yes.
idea. So I just pick an answer.
Yes. Indecisiveness and making sure everybody is on the same page. It leads to slow process. Yeah.
All right, I'm being told by my students I have to talk.
Love it.
I was primarily D. I'm very policy and this is the rules, we follow the rule type of mentality. But I also follow the micromanaging piece. I can see that a lot. I don't know. For me, I was split. I think it was 9B, 8C, kind of fall in that mix. But yeah, as Bruce was saying, with the athletic director piece, my big thing is always trying to think back to who your audience is. Sometimes in the teacher role, you're a leader to the students. Sometimes you're a leader amongst your peers, and it's sometimes you change the leadership role when you change who your audience is.
Oh, very true. Very, very true. Awesome. Well, thank you all. I really appreciate that.
I had one more request.
Oh, absolutely. I love it.
It was B, pretty straight to the point person,
Yeah.
and you're sometimes if you're not following the kind of definition of doing things, you might have a little B.
Fair enough. With officials. All right, Tanya, off to the next slide. Awesome job. Thank you, everybody. So we discussed those four. You've reflected on what your personality, your traits, the type of leader that you're most likely to become. How do they now connect into sport? And so in my experience in university sport, as I mentioned, I was a student athlete. I worked in the athletic department as a student. Now I'm working as a professional. I've been involved in university sport for like 12 years. We're going to connect these leadership theories to what I believe are the most applicable careers within sport, looking through the lens of university and post-secondary sport across Canada. So Tanya, you can hit it again. Oh, that's going backwards. That's okay. So transformational leadership, what we talked about earlier, I view that as the closest connection to managing. Again, managing in different sporting organizations in different contexts. Keep going. Okay, transactional, more officiating, more to the point. Here's the policy, here's the rule, here's what you need to do, and if you don't, I'm going to blow the whistle and we're going to stop. And there's a lot of other official careers out there just other than an on-field official, and we'll get into those in a little bit. All right, charismatic coaching. So at the university, I have 7 varsity coaches and 5 competitive club coaches, and every single one of these individuals has the Riz. They have the ability to motivate, to inspire, to sell a vision of where they want to go. And I'm gonna keep using Riz. I like it. And where they want to go. All right, that is the biggest piece of charisma. Riz. Yesterday is obviously a big day down south in the States. Political leaders, this is the thing that they have, good or bad. And as the slide showed, there are advantages and disadvantages, but every political leader has this ability. Same as a coach, same as a president, on and on and on. And then lastly is the servant leaders, most likely to be involved in the organizing, in the details, helping things move forward, helping an event run, helping a program get started, on and on and on. And so these are the 4 categories, tying these to leadership theories, back to the original slide about this focus. So keep going, Tanya. So getting more specific in some of the actual positions. Just moving my phone over here. So officiating. We heard from Mike earlier. There are a lot of other officiating types of jobs. And so there's on-field, off-field. There's sport conveners. So within U Sports, I think there's 25-ish sports. Every sport has a sport convener who oversees the policies, the regulations for that specific sport. Referee-in-chief, commissioner, discipline director, and compliance director. Again, those are types of positions that are closely aligned with transactional leadership. Here's the policy, here's the rule. I can help you with this. We got to stick to it. Okay? Moving over to coaching. So, head coaches, assistant coaches, strength and conditioning coaches, sports science, video analytics, mental performance. Sleep is the next big thing that's coming in the sporting world. Nutrition. Coaches have the Riz. They can sell a vision. They can get you to places you didn't know you could go. And so for the D's, this is something that you should consider in your next few years. All right, organizing in the bottom right, servant. So being involved in events, marketing and promotions, sports information, broadcasting, ticketing, facility operations, youth programming, and community relations. All of those things are really the underbelly of sport that go into running a varsity program or running a program at the college, the Hurricanes. All of those things live underneath the on-field, the on-ice product. Okay, and then lastly is management and the transformational leadership. So being involved in a board, president, vice president, GM, assistant GM, athletic director, associate athletic director, business manager, and a finance manager. Those are the people that can lead change within your organization, within your team, within your sporting group. Okay? All right. So where do we begin? So you guys are all in high school, correct? All in high school. So you're just moving in. You're likely still all playing sport. Sean talked about this earlier with Mike about your identity. So hopefully you all go on to play sport at the highest level. And if and when you do, that's fantastic. The end of that day will come at some point. It might be early for others. It might be later for others. Once that moment happens, it's about how do you transition into the other side of sport. And so these are the 5 most common ways right now for you as high schoolers to start to get involved in sport in the community, provincial level, national level. So internships and volunteering, I would imagine every single sporting organization in this city has some of these opportunities. Coaching and officiating, content creation. This is the new thing that has really taken off. We have, at the university, we have full-time staff who focus on content creation, and it's still not enough. Every organization is looking for more content, more involvement. It can be media, social media, it can be regular traditional communications, it can be a podcast. This is a good way for, especially for you as younger adults, to get your foot in the door to sport. And then networking and mentorship. So you have some teachers here who are athletic directors that you can lean on for their experience. There's people throughout Lethbridge and throughout Alberta who are happy to sit down with you and share their knowledge and share their experience. I always tell this story. So when I was a student at the University of Windsor, I had an awesome experience my first year, not great experience my second year. Third year, fourth year was really, really great. I knew I wanted to start working in university sport, so I just cold emailed the athletic director at the University of Michigan. And I just said, hey, I want to come talk to you. I was secretly trying to lobby for a job. I said, hey, I want to come meet with you and just learn and talk. He never responded to that email. I waited a couple weeks, and then I responded again and said, hey, I just want to come and sit down. He ended up responding. I got a tour right through the University of Michigan's campus. I had a couple hours with him to just pick his brain on all things Michigan Wolverines. People who are working in sport want to share these things with you. And so don't be afraid to take shots and to try and meet with these people and pick their brains on the best way to do so. And then lastly is pursue a post-secondary education. There are a ton of undergrad programs across the country. There's even more grad programs across the country that focus on sport management, sport psychology, sport business, sport leadership. That is a fantastic way to, again, get your foot in the door for when you go to apply for jobs, that having those letters behind your name carry a ton of weight. Okay, and the last thing for me is two things. So patience and people. I wish I would have had more patience getting my career going. There were mistakes I made along the way because I wasn't patient. Get your foot in the door. Once you have your foot in the door, be patient. Work hard, play the long game, and don't worry about how quickly you're moving forward. Tied alongside of that is people. I've come to learn that the sport landscape across Canada is incredibly tight-knit. Everybody knows everybody. Your best way to land the job that you want is to have other people talk about you in a positive light. So treat people the right way. Make sure you have that lens when you're making decisions, and that word will carry and your credibility will build. Okay? That's it for me. Thank you guys. Really appreciate it. I'll be hanging around if you've got some questions.
Thank you, Spencer. I love that slide with all the different job opportunities that happen in sport. I remember it from last year, and I looked at it and tried to check off as many boxes as I could, and I think it's important for us to come to conferences like this. I said earlier, I wish that it existed when I was an up-and-comer, because it would give me a little direction, of a bit of an idea of where I might take my career. I now check more of those boxes than I don't. Okay, the point of that is that there's not enough of us. Okay, I wouldn't like to check more boxes. In fact, I would love to give some of those boxes, those jobs, away to people that are willing to volunteer their time or even work in the field. Thank you, Spencer, for bringing that up. Are there any questions from the floor? That must mean you had a wicked presentation. Oh, there you go.
Pronghorn alumni.
Spencer, rundown of your day. What do you do in your day?
Oh boy.
I'm not saying you don't work.
Yeah. Ask the people around your table. You might get a different response. I would say my day is split into three. I try to get in relatively early and answer emails as quick as I can. I try to do that before people and our staff and our coaches get on campus, because once they do, my office is a bit of a revolving door. There's lots of people coming up to chat about issues they have going on in their program, about opportunities, about the upcoming games, about other schools, about other programs. And so morning is spent trying to make sure I take care of the transactional things I need to. The middle part of the day is really the transformation when I'm working with people, trying to help them change things within their programs and move it forward. And the back end is having the third coffee to stay awake. But it's a fantastic job. It's a fantastic job. There are any position of leadership, no matter what organization you're in, you're going to have to deal with issues. It's just the reality. So there are days where that happens, but for the most part, it's a fantastic job.
I know each section has the benefits and the negatives, but from your point of view, what type of leadership tends to be best for like a team captain?
Yeah, so my preference is transformational, without a doubt. There are all of them have strengths, all of them have weaknesses, and all of them are actually required within an organization or within your team. You can't have too many leaders. You do need to have followers, and so I think the way the world is going and the way sport is moving, that transformational is the next wave of leadership within sport.
I noticed content creation was the point of focus for you on that slide. Would you say that it's because it's popular, it's getting more competitive?
Yes, and I hate it, to be honest. It's the thing that I have to talk about and deal with the most. And I view content creation as a bit of a black hole. You can pump money, you can pump resources, you can put your organization's focus on it, but I don't see an end. It's just more pictures, more videos, more podcasts, on and on and on. And so it's really becoming an issue for organizations across youth sports, specifically to manage. Um, and NIL down south has played a factor in this, that athletes look at a lot of their value through the public image that they have. And it's now trickled into Canada as well, where athletes want more. I need a profile, I need my bio, I need my highlight video, I need more and more and more. And so it is an issue for working in sport, trying to manage the expectations of athletes.
Thank you for sharing that. I have some of the same frustrations as a coach with the social media thing. We identify all the issues with it and spend so much time adding to the content. So it's something for us all to reflect on, I think. Are there any other questions?
What are ways that you can develop these become a better leader?
Sorry, can you say that again?
What are some ways that you can develop to become a better leader?
Great question. So I think there's two pieces for me. The first is what you guys all did at the beginning of this, is the reflection and the self-assessment. I am adamant that good leaders reflect on their behaviors, their decisions, how they treat people. I think that is the biggest thing. Where leaders go wrong is if they have their blinders on. And then the second piece is making sure you have mentors in your life. So your teachers, your athletic directors, your coaches, your parents, your aunts and uncles, you have to have mentors. When I was referring to my issues with patience, that is actually what I'm getting at. Is I should have been more patient and I should have leaned on more people for their advice and their experience and slowed down, because it would have actually helped me progress in a more efficient way. So those would be the two for me, though. But fantastic question.
Anybody else?
Where do we begin with the best for all?
Yeah, so the two that have been successful for me would be the networking and then the post-secondary education. Your teachers are not going to like this comment. I joked when I was in university that C's get degrees, and I paid for it in my first couple years. And then as I started to experience university life and university sport, it helped me become a better student. My first year is in academic probation, second year just scrambling to get by. And then when I started focusing on that and putting a value in it, it started going better and better. And the job that I have now and the jobs that I've held previous, I would not have got without the post-secondary education. And then the second piece was the mentors and the networking. So that one of the main reasons I got the job here was the reference calls that I had and how people spoke about me. And so that those would be the two for me that are most important. I would say that may be changing, but I would put my eggs in those two baskets.
I always wondered what brought you to Lethbridge.
Yeah, Bruce Carbert. Yeah. No, it was an opportunity to get foot in the door working in university sport, as it's not an easy thing to get into. So
How do we get more young kids involved in coaching and officiating? Because we know, especially with basketball, we have no officials. So for coaches at middle school, elementary, how to get them involved, how to support them to be successful.
yeah, so I honestly don't know the answer to officiating. It's an issue, and actually Mike might be a better person to answer that question. In terms of coaching, we've started a new program at the university that's actually been very successful for our coaches, and it's focused on high performance coaching development. So we've actually put some money towards a position that coaches the coaches. And what we've done is we've brought student athletes into that now, and so they get to pick the brains of more experienced coaches and learn and start to feel a sense of confidence, feel a sense of value. And so that would be the piece for me. And the thing that we're doing at the U of L is bringing younger people in to experience what coaching is like, both good and the bad sides of coaching, and then helping them progress and develop. There are other things that are happening within Canada. There are lots of NSOs who are actually putting money towards young coaching and young development. But I would say the biggest thing is to tap people on the shoulder, bring them in, and have them experience the good sides of it.
Great answer.
Yeah, Mike, do you want to answer that officiating one?
I guess this is towards the athletic directors mostly, and I know you're already doing it, but it's going to be stamping out the negative stuff. I mean, honestly, if you take all the parents out of all your games, I bet you they have more officials. They won't like it, but there's that. So it's supporting officials, it's making sure they're there. Honestly, the problem with getting young people involved, and I mean, unless it works out for you, like it worked out for me. But honestly, like a part-time job is great until you want a full-time job, and then you're going to get paid more somewhere else. So other opportunities come up. So one of the things that kept me in officiating was always seeing that next level. So having a carrot in front helps, but honestly, you can see a lot of big organizations. You can see right now, actually, in all of the major sports leagues, there is a timeout broadcast going on where all the officials are wearing bands. Everybody's wearing everything to try and get from the top down to get rid of stuff. But like, if I'm fully honest, I did a game 2 weeks ago and someone's screaming at me. That doesn't matter. But next week in your gyms, if a parent's screaming at an official, that matters so much more. So everybody in this room, if you're watching sports and someone's doing it, you got to tell them to stop because they're not going to listen to the official. So that's how you can keep it going.
Anyone else? Awesome. Let's give a round of applause.
Thank you, guys. Appreciate it.